Hello everyone, this is your guy Rajat Saxena from rajatstudio.com. So I am back with yet another video, and today we are going to learn about JavaScript objects. So let's get started with that. So we are going to launch Node. So before getting started, we need to know what are objects in JavaScript. Objects are the mutable keyed collection. So what are keyed collections? Keyed collections can be understood as the collection of properties where keys represent the property and those properties have some kind of value. So let's have a look at a practical example of what I actually mean by keyed collections and properties. So we are going to create a simplistic object using a simplest approach that JavaScript offers to create an object, that is creating an object literal. So we are going to create an object literal here. It's simple. It's like for human equals to, start the curly braces, name equals to Rajat, age 29, address so that is how we create an object literal. Here these things before the semicolon represent the keys or the properties of this human object. So human has the property name and that property has the value Rajat. So how would you access all of the properties of any object? To do that, we have two approaches in JavaScript. First is a dot notation. The second one is the square bracket notation. So how to use these approaches? To get or to address the age property of our object human, we can use the dot notation as human.age. So it is going to output 29, and that is the value of our property age of our human object. Now how can we address the property country of our human object? So as you can see that this is an object literal, and an object literal can contain several other nested object literal as well. So you can consider this address property as having value of an object literal. This is an independent object literal and it has been assigned to this property of this object. So it's a literal inside this outer literal. Okay, so how can we use the dot notation to address the country of our human object? It's simple. It's human dot address, which is going to return the address object from our human object, and then we are going to put yet another dot and address the country of our nested object. So it is going to return India. So that is how we can address the individual properties of any nested objects if we want to. Okay, now how to use the square notation? It is simple. Just you have to switch the syntax with this syntax: human square bracket quotes age square bracket close, and we can access properties like that using the square bracket notation. If we want to address the country of our human object using square bracket notation, it is as simple as doing human address and country, and as you can see that it has returned India. So that is all about creating an object literal and accessing its property. Now what about if you want to add some new properties to our object? It is as simple as assigning the values to our new property. So if we want our human to have some kind of interest, we can add or append those properties to our human literal. Let's see how to do it. Human interest equals to programming, because why not? So that is how we have created a new property interest in our human object. So let's try to list down human object, and as you can see that the new property has been added to our object. And to address our new property, we can use a dot notation or the square notation. So that is it. And so that is how we go about adding new properties to our objects. So what about a scenario where we try to access a property of any object that is non-existent? So suppose our human object is not having any property like vocation. So what is it going to return? It is going to return undefined, because that property is not yet defined. One another interesting fact about JavaScript objects are that they are always copied by reference and they are never copied. So if we are going to create a new variable human2 and we are going to assign human to this variable, so basically human2 and human, both of these variables are pointing to the same object in the memory. So if we are going to address the age of human2, it is going to turn 29. And if we are going to change the age of human to 30 and then we try to access the age of human2 again, you will get the result as 30, because both of these variables are pointing to the same object. Remember I told you in the starting that objects are mutable keyed collection. So what do you understand by the word mutable? Mutable means whatever properties the object is having can be changed at any later point in time. So as you can see that we have changed the age of our human object from 29 to 30. So we have mutated the property of our object, right? So that is known as mutation, and we have appended a new property to our object as well. So our object has changed since the time we have created it, and that represents that the object is mutable. Now there are things known as immutable objects as well, and we are not going to talk about that thing in this tutorial. So I guess this is all about dealing with object literals and how you can create simple objects in JavaScript. Now in the next video, we are going to learn about how you can go about creating object which actually inherits properties from other objects, and we are going to learn about prototype chains and prototypes in JavaScript. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can get to learn more about prototypes, because it's a very important topic in JavaScript, because JavaScript is a prototypical language and it is kind of a important topic for us JavaScript developers to deeply understand. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.